Emma had learned how to disappear. She kept her head down, spoke only when necessary, and never stayed anywhere long enough for people to notice how exhausted she looked. Life had taken almost everything from her over the past year. After losing her husband to a sudden illness, medical bills swallowed their savings, rent became impossible to pay, and she and her 6-year-old daughter, Lily, found themselves living from one cheap motel to another. Emma worked every job she could find, cleaning offices before sunrise, washing dishes late into the night. But there was never enough money left for both rent and food. That afternoon, the two of them entered a small family diner on the edge of town. Emma counted the few coins in her pocket again and again. They were only enough for one small bowl of soup. She ordered it for Lily, pretending she wasn't hungry. "Mommy already ate at work," she whispered with a smile that hid the ache in her empty stomach. Across the room sat Daniel, a quiet widowed father in his late 30s. Beside him was his 8-year-old son, Noah. They came to the diner every Saturday because it had been Daniel's late wife's favorite place. Although years had passed since her death, the empty chair across from him still felt painfully occupied by memories. As they waited for their meals, Daniel noticed the little girl. Lily wasn't looking at the toys near the counter or the television on the wall. She couldn't stop staring at his plate, not greedily, not selfishly, just silently, with the expression of a child trying to convince herself that watching food was almost the same as eating it. Emma immediately noticed her daughter's eyes and gently turned Lily's face away. "We should go," she whispered. The untouched soup had barely been tasted because Lily kept insisting that her mother should eat first. Emma refused every time. Finally, embarrassed by the attention she feared they might attract, she stood up, thanked the waitress, and quietly prepared to leave before anyone could notice they couldn't afford another meal. But someone already had. Daniel watched the little girl take one last glance at the steaming plate sitting in front of him. It wasn't the look of a spoiled child wanting more. It was the look of real hunger, and something inside his heart refused to ignore it. Without thinking, he slowly stood up. "Excuse me?" Emma froze. She feared the worst. She had no idea that the next few minutes were about to change every one of their lives forever. Emma turned nervously as Daniel approached. Years of hardship had taught her that pity often came wrapped in humiliation. She expected questions she couldn't answer or kindness that demanded something in return. Instead, Daniel simply smiled. "I ordered far too much food," he said gently. "Would you help us finish it? My son and I hate wasting good meals." Emma instantly understood what he was doing. He wasn't offering charity. He was protecting her dignity. Before she could answer, Noah looked at Lily and smiled. "I can't finish these fries by myself." Lily looked at her mother. Emma's eyes filled with tears. For the first time in months, she quietly nodded. Within minutes, 4 strangers were sharing one table. Conversation started awkwardly but slowly became natural. Noah and Lily laughed over ketchup-covered fries. Daniel learned that Emma worked nearly 18 hours a day. Emma discovered Daniel had lost his wife 3 years earlier and had been raising Noah alone ever since. Neither of them spoke much about pain. They didn't need to. It lived quietly behind both of their smiles. As they prepared to leave, Daniel discreetly paid the waitress for several extra meals packed in containers. He handed the bags to Emma. "No pressure," he said softly. "Just dinner for tonight and maybe tomorrow." Emma tried to refuse. Daniel gently interrupted. "If someone had helped my wife when she needed it, I would have prayed they did." Those words broke something inside Emma. For months she had carried every burden alone. For the first time, someone simply cared. The following week, Daniel returned to the diner. So did Emma. Not because she expected another free meal. She came to thank him. That simple thank you became coffee. Coffee became conversation. Conversation slowly became friendship. But neither of them realized someone else had already begun praying for something much bigger. The 2 children. Because every Saturday, Noah always saved the seat beside him. For Lily. Months passed. Emma found a better job after Daniel recommended her to the company where he worked as an accountant. It wasn't charity. She earned the position through her determination and work ethic. For the first time in years, she rented a small apartment where Lily finally had her own bed. Daniel never tried to become anyone's hero. He simply kept showing up. When Emma's car broke down, he helped fix it. When Noah struggled in school, Emma tutored him after work. When Lily caught the flu, Daniel stayed with her while Emma finished an important shift she couldn't afford to miss. Little by little, 4 broken hearts quietly began healing together. One snowy December evening, they returned to the same diner where everything had started. The waitress smiled the moment she saw them. "This table seems full these days," she laughed. Daniel looked across the table. Lily was happily sharing fries with Noah. Emma was laughing without forcing it. For the first time in years, The empty chair no longer felt empty. After dinner, Daniel reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded receipt. It was the original bill from the day Emma had tried to leave quietly. He had kept it all this time. I almost stayed silent that day, he admitted. I'm grateful you didn't, Emma whispered. Daniel smiled. So am I. A year later, they stood together in a small garden surrounded by close friends and family. No grand ballroom, no expensive decorations, just simple promises built on kindness, respect, and second chances. Lily walked down the aisle holding Noah's hand, not as strangers, but as brother and sister in every way that truly mattered. Sometimes people believe miracles arrive with loud applause, but often, they begin with a little girl quietly staring at someone else's plate, and one man choosing not to look away.